What's up, guys? It's Sunshine. Today we are going to be taking a look at Josh Gordon's lengthy criminal/drug abuse history. Let me premise this by saying that drug addiction is something that affects millions of Americans and truly is a disease and a lifelong struggle that requires constant attention. According to statements Josh Gordon made to GQ, it all began in middle school when Josh Gordon began self-medicating with Xanax, weed, and codeine to help cope with feelings of social awkwardness, anxiety, and feelings of inadequacy. During this time, he was expelled from 2 middle schools for stealing and selling electronics that belonged to other students, according to what he told Sports Illustrated. Gordon earned himself a basketball scholarship at Westbury Christian, a prep school in Houston, but unfortunately was thrown out in the 10th grade for marijuana. He then transferred to Lamar High School, which was a public school, and it was there that he claims he joined a gang. The gang was a Houston set of the Bloods, and while in that gang, he partook in drive-bys, stealing cars, fighting, and scamming. He claims that he sold drugs, mostly marijuana, to feed himself. He was smoking weed every day, and in class he would drink vodka out of a Minute Maid bottle. During his junior year, he began drinking codeine, continued taking Xanax along with hydrocodone and oxycontin whenever he could get his hands on it. Before football games, he would drink wine and sometimes even play drunk. Gordon was recruited by several Division I programs but chose to attend Baylor because his supervised probation following a felony credit card theft when he was 17 prevented him from living outside the state of Texas. Gordon was required to return home to Houston once a month for drug tests, and he said he only passed because he would drink gallons of water days before to dilute his samples, and luckily for him, they were never flagged. As a sophomore, Gordon was arrested mid-season when police found him and his buddy/teammate, Willie Jefferson, asleep in a car parked in the drive-thru lane of a Taco Bell at 2 a.m. in the morning. Officers found multiple bags of marijuana in the car, and both players were charged with misdemeanor marijuana possession, though the charges ended up getting dropped. During his time at Baylor, Gordon said a dealer from home would send him as much as 6 pounds of weed per day, and he was making as much as $10,000 per month. Gordon told Uninterrupted in October 2017 that a coach at Baylor was helping him cheat drug tests. Unfortunately for him, his luck ran out, and by the start of his junior year, he was suspended indefinitely. Gordon ended up transferring to Utah, where he tried cocaine for the first time. Along with that, at this time in his life, he had begun taking Adderall on a daily basis. History repeated itself, and he failed another drug test while at Utah. He eventually ended up going home, where he fell back into old habits and began selling drugs on the streets of Houston once again. He never ended up playing one snap of football for Utah, and instead opted to go to the NFL draft. He ended up being drafted by the Cleveland Browns, where he would prior to games take a shot of whiskey or take a bong rip. At this point in his career, he claims he had something in his system in every single NFL and college football game that he had ever played in. In 2013, he had to miss the first 2 games for violating the NFL substance abuse policy. In 2014, Gordon was arrested for a DUI in North Carolina. He then failed a drug test and was suspended for 10 games. He was suspended by the team and had to miss the last game for missing a Saturday walkthrough because he was too hungover from getting blackout drunk the night before. In 2016, his initial attempt for reinstatement was declined by the NFL because he had failed a drug test, but by July he was reinstated. He was expected to play by week 5, but chose to go to rehab instead and took that year of football off. Gordon told GQ that he stayed sober for 6 months after rehab. He told Interrupted that at this point, after those 6 months, he just wanted to party and was wandering the streets of Houston like a drug fiend, asking random people where he could find drugs. Also, at that time, according to GQ, Gordon was informed in 2016 that there's a warrant out for his arrest for failure to comply with the paternity test. Then, after being picked up by the Patriots in 2018, he was once again suspended for a failed drug test. From this lengthy drug history, you can clearly see the effects that drugs have had on this young man. There are reports out now that Josh Gordon and Tom Brady, who is a huge advocate for him, have been practicing together. I believe in multiple second chances, and I believe if he can get his act together, he could be a huge weapon at wideout for the New England Patriots. If you like this video, drop a like. Subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos, and expect more to come.